Out here today with the Shadow System CR920P. We're moving towards 1,000 rounds, not quite there yet. Several malfunctions pre 200 rounds, which there is a 200 round break-in period that Shadow System themselves mention. I haven't had any malfunctions since the 200 round mark. I got 115 grain Aguila here today. We're at 10 yards here. Now we are at 10 yards. Wrong rock. But yeah, let's put a couple here. See if we can get a little bit of a group going here. It's real muggy out today. But let's give it a go. First shots for today. Okay. Clear. I forgot my marker. We'll just take a look here. So, either I'm shooting high or the dot's high. We got 1, 2. I don't know if there's 1 or 2 there, and then the rest look like they're right through there. Let's see if we can make some adjustments to that dot here and see what happens. Actually, I'm gonna shoot at that top right diamond. 10 yards. Aiming right for the middle. Best we can anyways. Might be shooting low. We ripped some off the diamond. Oh no, those are little black covers I did earlier. So, so we have, looks like 1, 2, and 2. Let's see if we can, this is from earlier. Let me just circle these off here. I don't have any more stickers, so gotta make do with just circling them. So let's bring the dot down here and go from there. The groups we're getting are not terrible. Let's try 5. We actually got 2 shots left actually. I'll have to reload after this. I haven't had any malfunction so far. I haven't shot a whole lot of rounds today though. My hands are really sweaty. So we shot 2. Let's do 3 more. See where we're landing here? I think I waved that one. Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, so this is the one I felt myself pull right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're kind of shooting to the right. That looks like a trend here. So the dot probably needs pulled to the right. Okay, I'm not going to bore you guys me walking back and forth. I'm gonna stop it here and then make some adjustments to the left and try another diamond. Okay, 3 clicks to the left. We're going to go bottom right diamond. I brought a limited amount of ammo with me. I didn't bring a ton of ammo today, so I don't want to needlessly waste it. I haven't shot this in a while. Anyways, bottom right. Okay. So 10 yards, 4 clicks to the left. I don't know if you guys can see this. So I got one to the right, which that was user induced, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 flyer, and then we went a little too far to the left. But I'm just giving you guys an idea what the groups look like. You don't have to pay any attention to my trial and error here. But I'm going to move it halfway back, 2 clicks back to the right, and we should be good to go. And I'm going to move on to the next diamond. Top left diamond. I probably should slow down a little bit, but so we got 1 outside, another flyer, and there's 1 here, and then there's 2 right here. We got a red circle here. I'm actually going to aim for that. Aim for these 2 circles. So we're going to do 3 shots apiece. How many we got here? We got 3, 4. We'll do 2 shots apiece. So 2 left, 2 right, black circle, red circle. I'm not trying to be scientific here, just trying to have a little bit of fun and keep things interesting with the paper we have. So red circle first. Black circle. Too high, I think. Oh, there's one left. Huh. We'll go back to the black. This gun's getting real sweaty in my hand. I'm not losing it or anything, but it's really sweaty. Did we not get lock back? Well, stay in school, kids. Learn how to count. We'll go back to the red, so it looks like we're doing 3 and 3 after all. Last one sucked. Anyway. Okay. So 1, 2, and that was that last one. My hands are really sweaty, so I really pulled that one up high, but we had 2 right here, and then we have 1, 2, and then 1 dead center. I'm trying to aim for these circles, so not terrible, not the best, but not bad. Okay, we got black, 2 little black circles there. We got 12 rounds. We're gonna try to pick up the pace a little bit. 6 rounds apiece, left and right, and see how we do. Kind of gonna try to go for that decent sight picture. I'm not gonna completely wait. It's getting hot and real muggy out here, so. Okay. And you see me pulling low left, so here you got 1, 2. It looks like there's 3. That would have been a nice group if I could have put the rest there. So you can see we got some spreading out here. That's still much smaller than a fist size, but nothing crazy. Trying to aim at this. You can see here we got 1, 2, 3 right here. And then, well, let's say 4, 5. Okay, so there must be a third one in here somewhere. Actually, no. So we got 1, 2. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we got one that ended up way up there. So that's a human error. But that's what I ended up with 12 rounds. This is a flyer miss, so we got smaller than a fist size group. I did a lot better on this side than I did over here, to be honest. But yeah, we got 1 more mag, so we're gonna have a little bit more fun here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1 more. Oh boy, just trying to something the point of aim, you know. 1 more mag. See if I can see if I can push myself a little bit more. No issues with at all. No failures of any sort. Okay, this is my last mag for today. We're really close to 1,000 rounds. I don't know if we're quite there yet. I'll have to check. Might have to have 1 more range trip to wrap this up. But yeah, anyways, left and right. We will do, we'll do 6 rounds apiece. Let's just go for a relative decent sight picture. Okay, definitely went a lot quicker there. So not great by any means. I should have buttoned these up down here. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see we have a lot more spread out. This is me. By the way, if you guys get a holster, I'd consider one with a closed bottom, because this front tip does get hot and it does burn. I have a Eclipse holster, which is, it's a decent holster, don't get me wrong. I don't like the clip. And here, let's finish this up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 right here. So here we got 1, 2, actually there's one right dead in the middle. It's probably the first shot. 3. Then I want to say 4 or 5. It's hard to tell. I don't know if that's a 6th one. I didn't close these off, so that's kind of neglect. So we could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Definitely these ones, I'm not sure. I think these were there earlier because there is 5 shots. So maybe there's a second one somewhere in here. There or there, I'm not sure. So 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6. So definitely opened up more to a fist size easily. Yeah, definitely spread it out. That's a little bit beyond my skill level. But back to what I was saying was, and I was just shooting, but like, I wasn't waiting until that dot fully settled. I just was, if it looked like it was close to that black, I was pulling the trigger, okay? Back to what I was saying was, if anyone's interested, is that this does get hot, this the comp here, and it will burn through here, because technically, if you see this, guys, is it is covered, right? But it's still somehow, it's you can feel it off the skin. I think if this was closed up, I think that would be less of a problem, but I am getting a little bit of a burn. Like it's when this thing heats up, so you got to be careful. I don't like these polymer. I love foamy clips, but I like metal ones, like Vetter uses, and Eclipse uses these junk polymer ones, and like it doesn't even completely clip properly. To be honest with you, it wants a bow out. I'm not skinny by any means, but it wants a bow out. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but you can see the clip doesn't really, it's there. You're not going to have any issue, but it doesn't sit flush, and I don't really care for that. But anyway, we're going to call the video there. I'll double check my round count when I get back. I'm pretty sure I'm probably still 100 rounds off. And I'm going to call it a day because it's getting gross out. It's supposed to hit like 95 degrees today. But yeah, just had a little bit of fun. Not crazy accurate, but it's okay shooting. Gives you an idea what to expect at 10 yards, especially for people with a lot more skilled shooters than I am, of course. Just kind of around average or so, maybe even less. So I'll probably bring it back to the house after this, because I probably don't need many more rounds to hit that 1,000 round mark. So these are the last rounds for the Shadow System CR920P. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 mags, 13 rounds in each mag, and this is the 10 rounder. Half of these, the first half, are Winchester silver tips. I'm going to run these first. This is just going to be a mag dump. I'm going to shoot these with some of them with 2 hands, and then I'm going to switch to the right hand, going to limp wrist a little bit, then shoot with the left hand at the end, and limp wrist a little bit, and see if we can get this to fail. So this is over 80 rounds, and this will put us over the 1,000 round mark. And then I'm going to take it back to the house and we'll follow up from there. So we're just going to rapid fire. Accuracy is not a concern. We're about 15 yards. Just going to see if she runs. I'm going to dump them as quickly as I can. The table's kind of moved to the side, so I'm just going to kind of be on an angle here. Switch to the right hand. Switch to the left. Shadow System CR920P, post 200 rounds, 800 rounds since, not a single failure, limp wristed, just goofing off with it, and you can see not one single malfunction. I'm going to take it back to the house. We're going to wrap up this 1,000 round review. Yeah, I'm back here up the house, going to wrap up the 1,000 round review on the Shadow System CR920P. Just so you see, we are empty, nothing in there. Just to touch on a few things I might have already gone over in the first impression video. This is a 3.75 spiral compensated barrel, and you can see it is the bronze. You can see the spiral cuts in there. It is a very nice barrel. I weighed it with the optic, which is a Holosun EPS carry. It weighed 1 pound 4 ounces, and that's with the 13 round mag in it. It weighed 1.4 ounces. That's obviously with the optic, so it's going to be a little lighter if you don't run an optic. Not a whole lot different, but it will be a little lighter. Just want to point that out. Just to go back to, you got texture. You got it in the front side. You got it in the back. They even put it here where you would rest your thumbs on both sides. They even put it up here on the trigger guard, right there in the front of the trigger guard. So you can get a nice high purchase. You know, you got the little bit of a beaver tail going on here, so you can get up real high on the gun to help control that recoil. Also brings me to, you know, you got your mounting system. Since I was talking about the EPS, it does not use a plate, okay? There is no plate. There is a front spacer that you do put in the front to eat up some of that real estate, but there is no plate. It mounts directly to the slide, and as you can see, you do get a full co-witness running the factory setup out of the box, at least with the EPS carry. I would imagine it probably would be the case with most of the optics, just because there is no plate and she does sit down low into the slide. And I've never had an issue as far as the optic coming loose. I believe that is a proprietary setup from Shadow System. It seems to work very well, at least over my 1,000 rounds of testing with this particular optic mounted on there. You do have a 1-slot pick rail right here if you want to go and put a light on there. You know, she does definitely shoot flat for the size of the gun, size and weight. I would definitely say that compensator is putting in the work. It's not that difficult to take apart either. I won't get into any of that. I don't want to take the firearm down, but she definitely is a nice little flat shooter for the size of the pistol. You do have your mag release over here, and it is swappable to the other side. A lot of times, though, I usually have to break my grip. It will come out, no problem. But, you know, if your hand's touching this and, you know, you can see it moves a little bit. So if your hand's there, sometimes, depending on your grip, well, sometimes, not all the time, depending on the way your hands are, you may interfere with that. I don't know if you can see it moving right here. If you look really close right there. So it does move. So depending on the size of your hands, you may have to break your grip, or maybe you won't have to. Sometimes I feel like I do when it doesn't fall freely. So that's hit or miss. That's going to depend on the size of your hands. The slide release, which is here, it is not on the other side, so it's not ambi. It's nothing special. I would prefer something maybe a little bit more pronounced, but it is a small gun, so I guess you know, what do you want? But I don't usually have an issue activating it. Nothing special, but it does the job. That brings me to the serrations, actually. Serrations they're decent. They're good. The guns, it's a real nice looking firearm. You know, they're not the best serrations, but they work. It's not the smoothest slide to pull back. Sometimes it can feel a little clunky, I think mainly because of the comp. But I've never had any issue activating it. And they look good, and you got some, you know, nice little slide cuts on both sides on this Elite model. Which that brings me to the trigger real quick. It's a decent trigger. I don't know how much it lightened up, maybe a little bit over the course of the 1,000 rounds. I'll show you here real quick. I usually get between, usually it's a little under 5 pounds. It's not quite 5 pounds. It's usually in the high 4s. So you could say 4.5 to 5 pound trigger. But I'll show you here real quick. So you kind of got your take up here. You get your little safety. And then you're going to have some creep here. Okay, so let me see here. Put it up pretty close to the camera so you can see. And there's your creep, 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 creep. And then she breaks pretty good. It's a decent break. My hands are sweaty right now. I'll show you here to reset. And the reset's a little long, not terrible. And there you go. You heard it. It's audible, tactile. You'll feel it. You can kind of feel it, push your finger a little bit. Then you're gonna go. You want to break it again, and you got to go through your creep there. And then she breaks. Okay, so not a fantastic trigger, but it's a decent. It's a decent trigger. You don't notice it as much, you know, when you want to nitpick things and, you know, pull it up to the camera, you know. But a lot of times when you're shooting, you don't really notice those types of things as much. At least I don't. But it's a decent trigger. It's not a light trigger, so it's good for EDC. And, you know, it'll probably clean itself up a little bit over time. But I believe I'm not really familiar with Glocks, but from what my understanding, it's a Glock style trigger, and, you know, they're not known to make the best triggers. But it's a decent trigger, and it's, you know, it's a serviceable everyday carry trigger. I don't really have any complaints. You know, it gets the job done, but nothing to write home about. Also, real quick, probably the last thing here before I get to the overall performance of the gun is you have this little piece here. This is not entirely uncommon, but I notice it a lot with Canics too, is that you have this little piece here when you put these extended mags on that don't sit flush. And just sometimes, depending on your hands and everything and your grip, you know, I can sometimes, time to time, feel this kind of digging into my palm. If I already didn't cover that in the video, I think I did, but if I did, I apologize, but I just wanted to throw that out there. So, you know, it's a great little gun. You know, I have no real complaints, just a couple little nitpicks here and there. You know, not the best trigger, you know, mag release. Sometimes you might have to break your grip, maybe, depending on your hands. Slide locks, you know, nothing special. It gets the job done.
but it has a lot. It has a lot of good positives, you know. But as far as functionality goes, I did have 5 malfunctions before the 200 round mark. And since I got the 200 rounds and beyond, from 200 to 1,000, not one single failure. You would have seen some of the footage. There's one where I run several mags in a row where I'm just kind of, you know, holding the gun in a flimsy manner, just kind of playing around with it, seeing if I can get it to fail. Because I would imagine that most people's concern with this shadow system, especially the compensated one, is reliability. You don't want an everyday carry gun that's not compensated. And shadow system will tell you that it does have a break-in period. And I did experience 5 malfunctions. I believe they were all failure to ejects, stovepiping, which were early on. I think they all happened within the first, I don't know, 150 rounds or so. But they definitely nothing after 200 rounds. I ran a mix. It was all 115 grain FMJ. I even used, like, you know, Aguila. I believe there was MagTech that was in there. Probably maybe some Federal, Fiocchi. I did run some hollow points. You would have seen some of them. I ran a couple of the Winchester Silver Tips hollow points. I had no issues feeding anything. And that's 115 grain. Sometimes people will say maybe you should use 124 grain when you're running something that's compensated, because some people have mentioned some unreliability with not this particular firearm, but just compensated guns in general when you run 115 grain. I haven't noticed that, not with this firearm anyways. It ran everything I gave it and fed it was 115 grains FMJ, and then some hollow points, no problems at all. I think that pretty much about covers it. If you have any questions, something maybe I didn't cover, just, you know, put a question down in the comment section, and I will get to it as soon as I can, and I'll follow up with you. I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. You have a good day. Thanks for watching.